everyone. How are you doing? Welcome back to the Lovin Daily, where we take you through all the trending stories that everyone in Dubai is watching, that everyone in Dubai is interested in, that everyone in Dubai is talking about. I'm coming to you live from Lovin Dubai HQ, where if you're watching on Facebook, Instagram, let us know where you're watching from. And I'm here with Ali Baba. Good morning, Ali Baba.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Casey.
How are you doing?
I am good. I am good. I'm really good. I'm happy that you're back.
This is the thing. Poor Simran has had a very, very busy couple of weeks. Like I was saying, I was watching. She's been doing an unbelievable job. It's been busy, but I'm hoping she's taking a well-deserved lie-in. Simran, we miss you. Come back to the studio soon.
She's gonna say otherwise.
Yeah, I know, but people deserve a break, and it's early morning, and it's Sunday morning, guys.
Yeah.
Let us know as always where you're watching from. Did you have good breaks? See, I feel like it's the start of the new year now, so I'm thinking New Year's resolutions, back to it. But everyone's already been back for a week. I was meant to come back for a week. I was meant to come back a week ago, like everyone else, starting back on January 3rd. But
Things happen.
things happened. I had a situation. It was emotionally draining. It was very, very tough, guys. I kind of want to share the story because I think it's an awareness message to everyone. Because what happened to me, I do believe it was self-inflicted, but it can happen to everyone because there was steps I took which I thought were precautionary, but it just turned out to not be enough. So I was flying to the UK for Christmas to spend it with my family. I took a COVID test in Dubai on the Saturday before I flew on Sunday, and it was negative. And my boyfriend at the time, and this is and this is what annoys me so much, because he had been feeling ill, but we didn't read the signs because he'd been feeling ill for about a week, and he'd taken a COVID test a week prior to that because he was, seeing he was working from home. But of course, if you're feeling ill in any way, you should go and get a test. That's what they say. So we went and got a test and it was negative. So then I went to get a test before I flew. I was also negative, and he started to feel a little bit more ill, but we took his temperature. He didn't have any of the obvious symptoms. So it was like, well, he's already taken a test. I've taken a test. We're both negative. I felt okay to travel. I fly on Saturday. On Sunday morning, he starts to feel really, really ill. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, then he takes a test. And we still didn't even think that it could have been COVID. It was kind of one of those things that he doesn't have. Then he did start to develop a cough. And I know that sounds so silly now. But his temperature was low, and his temperature was regular, and it just didn't seem. It sounds so silly saying it now. I look back on all these moments and I'm like, how could I have been so stupid? But at that point, I'd flown in for Christmas to see with my mum, who's over 70, with my sister and her kids. And on Tuesday, my boyfriend went to take another test and he was positive. So I immediately self-isolated. Luckily, my sister had a rental house that they've just moved out of. So nearby, there was no furniture in it. The heating was off. But luckily it was there, because otherwise I would have had to stay in the house with my mum and my sister. So we were so fortunate with that. But I moved on the 23rd of December. I went into this empty house with no furniture for the whole Christmas period.
Oh my goodness.
But I didn't even mind, because it was like, as long as I haven't passed it on to anyone. And the odds are, if you're living in a house with someone, it's very possible that you have. So it was that whole Christmas period of worry. And we got to the 30th of December with no symptoms that I was aware of, by the way, because my sister actually did develop symptoms, but she didn't want to worry me, but she went to get a test and everything. I got from the 23rd to the 30th with no symptoms in our house, apart from me. I went through the symptoms.
Yeah.
I had probably a fever, a cough, nothing too worried. I was more worried about my family and passing it on. And then my sister tested positive on the 31st of December. And then we were just so worried about my mum that we isolated her again. So she moved into an Airbnb in another house, and she is still there, but against the odds, my mum has not developed COVID-19. But it's just one of those. Yeah, it was. Sorry, I didn't mean to go into a tangent about it, but it was just, this is why I've been away for so long. And my luckily, and I just feel so much for everyone who's gone through it, because we've been so fortunate that my mum hasn't gotten it, but I know a lot of people have. And it's just a precautionary tale that even if you get a negative test, you may have contracted it, but you're not positive yet.
Yeah.
And we're so fortunate in the UAE that you can get the test so quickly, because I know we've had a scare in the office, and that's why the team has been away. And Alibaba, you said you got your test on what day?
Friday, and I got the result Saturday morning. So they were pretty quick. It was less than 24 hours.
And I think we're so used to that here, that quick testing in the UAE, that we forget how amazing it is. Because my sister started to feel symptoms on a Sunday, took the test on a Monday, and it was 4 more days before she got her positive result. And that's 4 days of, now she was isolating, of course, but she was in the house with my mum, and they were trying to isolate from each other.
Yeah.
But there was kids in the house. My mum was seeing the kids. So you're not, until you get that positive result, you're still unsure. So we didn't completely isolate them. So we're so lucky in the UAE that testing is so fast and we're able to get those answers and results so quickly.
Exactly.
So it was an emotional Christmas. So I feel so fortunate to come back and into this view this morning. And as I was driving through, I was like, we are so lucky to be in the city. And today we're going to be talking about the incredible rate of vaccinations in the UAE. You can see the title there, more than 1 million UAE residents have already been vaccinated. This is huge. We're also going to be talking about the end of the Qatar diplomatic crisis, which is fantastic news, which came over the weekend and the last couple of days before that, and also a newly released storybook written by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed. But the first story I want to talk to you about is the fact that more than 1 million UAE residents have already been vaccinated. So the new campaign isn't one of awareness, it's to make sure that when you can, get that vaccination. It's the best protection we have against the virus. And in line with the Ministry of Health plan to provide the vaccine to more than 50% of UAE's population, that's a total by, is it Q3 or something? Maybe it's this year. A total of 78,793 doses have been given in the last 24 hours. Ooh. So in 24 hours, 78,000 people have been vaccinated.
I'm planning to get mine.
Same, yeah. 100%. Yeah. First online, of course, is people with chronic diseases and the elderly, but as soon as we can, I'm there. So that brings the total number of doses distributed in the UAE to over 1 million, and that's a distribution rate of 10.32 doses, 10.32 doses per 100 people. So like we said, the priority has been given to the elderly or those with chronic diseases, and the process is so simple. Like you said, you're going to get it as soon as you can. So if you get onto SEHA, it's an app, that's the Abu Dhabi Health Services, you can get the vaccination there. I've done it for my mum by phone. Actually hit a stumbling block because we need her MRN health card number. But in other countries, there's a lot of chat about it, and there's, when are we going to get it, and who's going to get it first. But it's just happened so quickly in the UAE. Because there is such a demand for it, they've actually opened up new testing facilities. So I think there's 7 more private testing facilities now doing the Pfizer vaccine with SEHA. I think you can read it all about it on Lovin Dubai. So there are different vaccines available. There's a Pfizer and the Sinopharm. It doesn't matter. Get the vaccination. That's kind of the word from the top. The hashtag used to be Together We Can. Did you know it had changed?
No.
So it used to be Together We Can. We're all in this together. And I love that messaging. And now it's changed to Together We Recover.
Ooh, that's nice.
we're getting there, and it's still a scary time. Like, of course, we're not going to hide the fact that numbers are rising. So are recoveries. In the last 24 hours, there's 2,998 new cases. That's scary. We have more new cases than we had at the peak of the first when we were doing our first lockdown. But also the recoveries are also quite high, 2,262. Active cases are at 23,000. When I was reporting at the start of December, it was around 7,000, 8,000. So active cases are also rising. So I think let's also follow the precautions. Let's also be safe. Let's also continue to wear our masks. Just because I've had COVID doesn't mean I'm going to forget any of that. I'm still in the habit of washing my hands very, very regularly, wearing our masks, and just doing everything you can to protect the virus and protect loved ones around you until you and your loved ones can get the vaccine.
Yes, exactly.
We'll be first in line when we can.
Yep.
Moving on, the UAE announced the reopening of sea and airspace with Qatar. Guys, this is huge. So everyone will remember the Qatari diplomatic crisis in 2017. I remember we were reporting on it in Lovin Dubai. It was the first time we saw massive interest in the region run one new story, because it was when the UAE and other GCC countries cut diplomatic ties with Qatar, and it was an uneasy time. We weren't sure what was going to happen, because there was a bit of kind of instability in the region. And then what followed from that was a stalemate between the countries with Qatar. Borders were cut from much of neighbouring countries, but no longer. And were you expecting this? Did anyone even know what was going to happen? Or was I just away that I didn't kind of pick up any hints or something?
I kind of figured eventually that this will happen. It's the GCC, we're all brothers and sisters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So eventually, it's nice that, like, even though it happened, and like I said eventually. So it's nice to see that peace and brotherhood prevails.
It really does, and it's been that's kind of been the theme over the last couple of months, obviously with strengthening relations with Israel, and then this happens. So the UAE will begin to end all measures taken against the state of Qatar following the signing of the Al Oil Declaration. So there is a Gulf and Arab achievement that promotes GCC Arab and Islamic immunity, and from yesterday, all ports, sea and air have opened, and the UAE and Qatar will work to resolve their outstanding issues. So, like what you said, peace and brotherhood prevails. And it was a stalemate for 3 years. It was an unstable time, but nothing more than borders were cut off. So it kind of felt like it was yeah, like I said, a stalemate. And we're seeing, like you said, peace and brotherhood prevailing.
Peace and brotherhood.
And there are still outstanding issues. But what WAM, which is the UAE government website, said is that they are working on those outstanding issues. But this is a huge step because it means that kind of business can flow through again. And yeah, we're seeing we have COVID to worry about. We don't want to have to worry about all these little things. Final story, guys. Dubai's ruler has released a children's storybook. It's called My Little World. He says it's his new book and it's dedicated to all of the children. This is really cool. We actually have a video of a little clip of it. If we can play it now. If you're watching on Instagram, go on to Facebook to hear it. Yeah. I'm going to play it now.
Many adventures on land and at sea. Today, I am sharing these stories with you, so you can learn from my colorful journey in the past and enjoy the lessons as much as I did. Through these stories, you will learn that great dreams have no limit. Your father, Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum.
Just a quick word to anyone who's watching on Instagram. You may or may not know, but our full show is on Facebook, where we have kind of our graphics with the stories, our titles and everything. So our Instagram is a little bit of behind the scenes. The full show is on Facebook, and that's where we showed the clip of this storybook released by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed. He basically said that growing up, he was always eager to learn new skills. He had many adventures on land and sea, and he's translated this into lessons and storybooks, and a storybook, which is really cool for all kids to get. I don't know where you can buy it, but I'm sure we'll bring you more information when we have it. That's it. But before we leave you, I just saw a question saying someone asked, "Are you negative now?" Good question. Am I negative? If you're just joining, I told the story about why I was late back is because over the holidays I think I got COVID-19 in Dubai, then I flew to the UK. So to travel back into Dubai, you need a negative COVID test. But also, if you have COVID, you're most infectious. Yes, I am negative before I get into it. Yes, I'm negative. But if you have COVID, you're most infectious before your symptoms show and during your symptoms show. And they say that the majority, like most people, are not infectious after 9 days, after 10 days. And that's why the quarantine period after symptoms is 10 days. So I was okay to travel. I had permission to travel. And then I got my test. However, and this is interesting about quarantining times, that if you get your test, if you get COVID, although you're not infectious anymore, and I know I can still get it, which is why I'll still continue to be safe. If you get COVID, it can still remain in your system for months. So people who need to travel, if you need a test to travel to a certain country, that could leave you in a sticky situation. Also, a lot of offices may require you to show your negative test before you go back to the office. So although you've done your isolation period, although you've been through the symptoms, you may or may not have been, you still need to get that negative test. So that could worry a lot of people because you could have to isolate then for months. Yeah. So I Googled it, and there's little hacks. This isn't cheating the test in any way, but because there are, let's say, for example, you could have let's say it's in your sinus. So you could have different COVID cells. So basically, I read that if you use a saline wash, so it's like a salt wash, a nasal wash, just to clear out your cells, and it's a little bottle, you put it up one nostril and the water comes out the other. And I did this, let's say religiously for about 3 days before the test. Just to kind of clear out my sinuses because I was blocked up, and the week before I also felt like I got a cold and everything. And I got a negative test. I hope you don't think that that's me cheating. It definitely wasn't, but it's just to clear out any cheating. Dead cells that could be sitting in your sinus. And I read a lot of people on who said that they tried it. They kept on getting positive tests because this could happen to you, but you just need to clear out your sinus. So yeah. But that was my COVID story. It's great to be back here with you all. It's great to be back, Alibaba.
It's great to have you back.
Thank you very much. Guys, Sunday morning, hope you have a good start of the week. And we will talk to you tomorrow morning, same time and very same place. Have a good day. Bye-bye.